Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name remains Real Talk with Auntie Aduni. To all my subscribers, I want to say thank you for staying tuned. And for those who are just subscribing, thank you and welcome to this channel. I greet you especially. Thank you very much. And for those who have not yet subscribed, why don't you press the subscription button and see what we do on this channel? Yeah, let's go back to the story. Remember, I hope you remember where I stopped. I stopped at where I said they came and they collected their money back. Okay, now let's go into the next phase. Hopefully I'll try and see if I can round up today. Hopefully I want to finish it so I can do other stuffs. So they came and they took their money, like I said, and I started going to Baptist. I started going to Baptist for about some years. Then suddenly, at a point, you remember I said I was into piggery. My business crumbled because we had gluts and we had swine fever in the piggery business. Swine fever, anybody that does piggery can attest to this, that swine fever crumbles. In fact, a lot of people lost their life and a lot of people had stroke due to this thing that I call swine fever, because it will financially crumble you. So financially, I became so down. And that was when my first son was to go into secondary school. At this point, there was nowhere to turn to. There was nobody to go to. In fact, at that point, I have become a lone person because I experienced some things which make me not to feel free to go and meet anybody anymore. So I was on my own. As at that time, my husband's money in the account, we went to check it up and they said I can't withdraw it because he didn't make a will. So I'm encouraging you, once you are 40 and you have children, please make a will. Not because of anything, because of your children, so they will not suffer. Nobody is praying for it, but nobody knows when it will strike. We are all living on borrowed time. Okay, come to their reality. They will say, God forbid, I pray, I cancel the spirit of death. People have canceled spirit of death and the next minute they go. Okay, so it is not about canceling. We all come into this world. We don't know where we are going. So if you have children and you are above 40, please make a will, not for anything, for your children not to suffer. So we couldn't access his account. The man that was supposed to do the account for me, the lawyer, I approached him and he said he was going to sleep with me. Because I didn't agree, he delayed the papers. But that's not necessary anymore because the person too is late. You see, life. So I was struggling. Now I'm going to wish you something. Prayers are wishes. Like I keep saying, we pray is our way of releasing our emotions and a way of hanging on to a hope. So that hopefully one day, I don't know what you are going through, that you are looking at me. I have seen some comments. Some people have called when they saw my number. People who know me on Facebook, who does not know this story before, have called and said, Auntie, thanks for sharing this. And they have shared their story with me. Wherever your helper is, they shall locate you. You will not be far from where your helper is. Strangers will stand up to help you. Strangers were there for me. People I never expected were there for me. People who ran away from me, they came back. How did they come back? When I was looking for money to pay for my son for secondary school, I went into Redeem. I couldn't afford their money when I had how much I was going to pay. So at a point, I had to sit my son down. My son, I remember what that boy told to me. He said, Mommy, I'm ready to go to public school if that is what you can afford. I cried and I told him, I said, no, you will not. Let us see what we can do. And another thing I want to teach us here, if you are a single parent, you are managing, please do according to what you can afford. Sometimes we think of all those big schools, we think they are the best. No, they are not. Because at a point again, I became financially incapacitated. I had to change their school to a cheaper school, and they did well in that school. So it is all about how you train your child. As long as the school is a school where children can be monitored, it doesn't matter how cheap it is. Just make sure, so as long as they are teaching them well, that is all you need to. We take all these expensive schools and we think they are the best. So one day, I was baking. At a point, I started doing baking back. I stopped baking. So I had to start baking, doing the piggery, and I couldn't travel anymore, no money to travel. I have used everything to pay for school fees. So I was collecting goods from people. So one day I was baking in the kitchen. I can't forget. I was even looking so dirty with flour and everything. And I had a knock on my door. When it is time for you to get relief, even without stressing, your helper will locate you. Yes. So I had a knock and I opened the door. And guess who I saw? The pastor's wives in my area. They suddenly remember me after 3 years and they came in. Kilo de, ẹ̀yin la rí yìí. And they started apologizing. We are sorry. We are sorry for leaving you. We've been very busy. Blah, 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 blah. I welcomed them and I said, thank you for coming to check up on us. By the time they will go, because my God no sleep, my money still there we redeem. And so they enter. And I was giving a check, a huge check, not up to $1 million, so don't go and be calculating money, but at least a check to pay my son's school fees. Half of it I actually used to pay my son's school fees, and half of it I put back into my business. So they came and they visited me and they asked me where I was worshiping. I said Baptist. They didn't see anything. After that, they left. After they left, now in my sense come back. Now I say, come on. My husband actually spent a lot of money because they are coming after 3 years. I was like, so these people think they are smart or what? Remember I said even members of our parish, Rivers of Life, I remember the name now, Rivers of Life Parish in Bagada. I was not even hearing from them again. Only one of them, one lady from the choir stayed with me for some time. And one guy that we helped to accommodate before my husband's death was in our house then. At the point he left. So I said, come to think of it. In this, I fell. I made 1 or 2 mistakes in my life. You know, when you are going through pains and there's nobody to stand by you, you become vulnerable to a lot of things. You are weak to a lot of things. So I became very vulnerable. I made 1 or 2 mistakes. I was always weak in my mind, in my spirit, in my body. But I keep pushing. I keep pushing. I keep pushing. There are days my hands will not be able to lift. I will force it to leave. There are days I will not eat the whole day because my mouth has turned somehow. I keep pushing. And after I put my son in school, you know, one day, I sat and I looked. I said, no, my husband's labor will not go in vain. Nobody will take advantage of me. I saw some people making some comments that you are worshiping man, you are not worshiping God. If I knew better, maybe I wouldn't. Yeah, I know better. I think it was my husband that got carried away. And it's unfortunate I was actually the one that made him to start going to church. He is from a Christian background. He doesn't go to church. I am from a Muslim background. I am the one that goes to church. I am the one that made him to start going to church. So you can blame me all you want. But remember all this awareness. When you are talking about all this awareness, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, there was nothing like this. And nobody dare talk about all these people. And even till now, you can see the way you are creating fears in the heart of people about talking about them. I beg. So if I knew better, maybe. So one day I stood up. I looked. I said, my husband spent a lot of money in this place. The parish, they said I should not go again. My husband used his money to rent that place, renovate the place, to make it habitable as a church. Bought chairs, bought keyboard, drum, blah, 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 and everything to start this church. His money is the major money in that place. Now I look. Say, she now saw all this money go, plus all the first fruits. My husband will carry 250,000 every January. In those days, when money is still good, I'm talking about 18, 17, 16. I'm talking about 18, 19, 20, 21, 20 years ago. I'm not talking about now. Imagine somebody carrying 250,000, a whole month salary in this dispensation and giving, not to talk of those days. Now so the money go carry the money inside the envelope. You go say I'm carry am like this. I go say wetin be that. He go say na in first fruit. I say first fruit. I go say na everything you go put down. He go say yes. He go say make I bring my own. I go tell am say I no get. One day we fought about this thing. He said my January sales, I should bring it. I say for what? He say for first fruit. I say shey na first fruit go feed us for house. Na so we fight. He quarrel with me for 1 week. He say I am delaying his blessing. Na so I dey look the man. I say thank you. Let me delay. I no answer am. And don't come and bring, because I'm seeing some people bringing some analysis that your husband giving is what paved way for you. Take it back. What did you hear me say? Take it back. His giving was foolish giving. He didn't know better too. We were in our 30s, early 30s. So what are you saying? Like many today are sold and you are seeing different things. It is us that are outside that are seeing it the way it's supposed to be seen. You that you are inside, they are perfect as far as you are concerned. Oh, I thought that day and I said, my husband money is still there here now. Now I call my children. I say we are going back to redeem. They were still young anyway then. They couldn't question me. Before then, I went to visit the pastor, area pastor. I went to his office. I greeted him and I said, I want to come back. He said, wonderful. That's beautiful. He said, we'll really be happy to have you. By then, they had moved close to where I am living, Oregon, and I live in Ogba. I said, okay. So they were expecting me. The first day I went, so when I'm telling you they scam me, I scam them back. This is when they scam me and I scam them back. Now is what you are hearing. So maybe we might just round it up today. So I went that day. They welcomed me. Sister T is back. Deaconess. I was actually a deaconess then. I don't throw away their deaconess for them. Deaconess Tony is back. Let us praise the Lord. They welcome me. You are welcome in the name of the Lord. You are welcome in the name of the Lord. We can see all over you the glory of the Lord. Me, where I don't suffer, well. Hey, you are welcome. Then see the glory. If to say, then leave me as they leave me. We be say, I no get. Now so I dey hustle here and there. But when they saw me, at least things were picking up. I was still a bit lean, still a bit kind of shrinking, but I was getting myself back gradually. This was about 3 going to 4 years now. So I went back and they welcomed me into their midst. I said, you people, you will pay. I go do Yahoo for this place. Now so they talk for my mind. So I begin go. They don't balance. I hope this will not even hinder other people from getting this expo. This na expo where I won't give. So I begin go. After I don't go for almost a year, now I approach the area pastor. Remember I said Pastor Escon sent people to me when my husband left, and the man said the church is taking over my children's education till university. After Ikpai, I don't hear anything again. They don't talk anything again. In fact, they don't even visit. Nobody asks of me until they came. When I told you they came, almost 3 years after. So when I went back, after a year, almost a year, I now approached the area pastor. Now I begin crack me. Pastor, the man is late too now. The pastor is late. He's late. God bless Pastor Bamidele so. Very nice man. I say, Pastor Ejosan, share Bagbesa pe. Okay, for so those who don't understand Yoruba, I say, Pastor, please. When Pastor Escon was alive, he promised this, he promised that. Up till now, I have not had anything. It's not easy. These children are growing. The burden is getting too much for me. Please, I don't know whatever help they can give. Now I begin beg. I begin do like this. For church, we get plenty money. They cannot do a program that all widows in Redeem all over the world. This is what they will be doing for them. Now I beg her. I said, I beg. He said, okay, he will go and ask them in the meeting and see what they will do. Before I continue, let me show you something in the next slide. That picture, this picture you are looking at, this picture of 1 dereka rice, sachet of tomato paste, this picture is what your church gave a widow during COVID. Not ordinary widow, a widow of a pastor who served Redeem for over 30 years. That is what she was giving during COVID. Not only that, they were asking her for offering and tithe from the house that she should remit through, this their electronic transfer. She was being asked to pay ministers' offering. I mean, what do they call their offering this thing? A widow. Waiting Musa no go see for gates from these your pastors. If it is possible, they will say person should go and sell themselves to bring the money. You heard when Isaac was telling us in the last video I posted about Isaac Oyedepo that your need is your seed. Abina, your seed be your need, whatever nursery rhyme. That if you have a need of 20,000 and all you have is 10,000, he said that 10,000 carry and come give church. Church where in Papa they boast of $200 million. He said bring that 10,000 naira, still bring them. Wọ́n ti gbá yín ni, wọ́n ti gbé yín ní trabaye. That was what that widow was giving during COVID. No visitation, nothing. Not even call to check up on her. All they ask anytime they have to call is to ask her for offering, to update her on programs and how she can transmit and transfer money into their accounts for during COVID because there was no physical church service. So the pastor said, I will get back to you. And when they collect money, they do meeting on top of my head. I kept asking him, Pastor Sheikh Bagbe me for weeks. He will say they are still deliberating on it. Then they deliberate on money where they know deliberate before a person puts down. It is not as if I don't have a genuine need, though. They know I need help genuinely. They say they are deliberating on it. Imagine if my husband did not leave a house for me. Imagine if I am not the pushy type who pushes men to greatness. I am a woman and it was one of the reasons why my husband appreciated me a few days to his leaving. He said, I will always appreciate you. You've done so much for me. I did for him before he did for me. Even though we don't see that kind of love these days. I am the type that pushes their men to greatness. Because I remember when he was working, I was the one, after we built the house, I was still the one that asked him to buy another land. It was not ready. And it was that land that saved him after he lost his job for him to start his own business. Imagine if when he was building, like a Dastica, the house will take us like 10 years for us to finish. I will shock you that the house took us 3 years to finish because I was using myself as engineer. He was very busy, but I'm always available to go to the site to check. Very early, I don't pack my food, put everything inside flask. Food where I go chop for morning, chop for afternoon, chop for evening before I come out. It's only on weekends it will go. I still have all the pictures with me. On weekends, he will go there to check how far, and he will give me a hug. Imagine if I'm not that kind of a woman. Imagine I'm the kind of woman who is only interested in buying clothes, buying cars, and buying shoes. Shayna shoe for save me. At least accommodation is very key in everything. We had that roof over our head. So women, Women, when the Bible says it's a woman that build home, it's in your hands. But no be by fight. Know how to talk to your husband to do the needful. Because if anything happen and you go suffer amo, nobody prays to be a widow. It can happen to a man, it can happen to a woman. So they started doing meeting on top of my head though. Say then go get back to me. After about 2 months, now pastor called me say, Sister T, your request has been granted. If you see as I dey float that day, I say in my mind, you people, you will pay me to the last penny before I leave redeem. Because when I went back, I didn't go back as a member. I went back to take a pound of flesh. Moses' law, tí ẹ̀dìyẹ bá dá ẹ lóògùn, wà fọ́ lẹ́yìn. In this case, they collected my husband's money because what I read in the Bible is different. There are some Bible verses that supported what should be done for widows. James 1:27 says, religion that is pure and undefiled before God, the Father, is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world. Isaiah 1:17 says, learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, plead the widow's cause. Okay? And Zechariah 7:9-10 says, thus says the Lord of hosts, render true judgment, show kindness and mercy to one another. Do not oppress the widow, the fatherless, the sojourner, or the poor, and let none of you devise evil against one another in your hearts. They started doing meeting. So when I saw that, no, this is pure wickedness, this is exactly the things I was pointing out to my husband as a pastor then, that look, we have people in need. We have people who come to church. You can see the hunger in them. Why are these people not helping? All the money we are making, what are they using it for? I always ask that question. And my husband will say, no, you don't question authority, which is the fear they have created in us. Now that we have been questioning them, what has happened to us? In those days, they will make you feel if you question them, something bad will happen to you. We've been questioning them for how many years now? What has happened to us? So they said they will get back to me that they are working on it. I was happy. And I was like, you people will pay. So a few weeks after, or 1 or 2 months after, the first check was handed over to me. I saw the check. No, they asked me to go and compile my children's school fees and let them know how much it was. Me, I carry my pikin change school for them. Put them for better school, way past the one where then they go. Yes. Say you people must pay. You now must pay. So I carried the check and I gave it. I carried the bill and I gave it to them. I said, this is the amount I'm paying. So they paid the first year. They thought for the 3 terms they paid me. While they were paying me, I was gathering my business back. Remember, I'm not paying school fees anymore as at this time. So I was using that opportunity. Instead of going to party, instead of buying clothes or buying jewelry or buying nonsense and that. The car I was managing for years, I was managing my thing. The car fit spoil for road today, I go repair am. My mates are buying new cars, I no change car. For years, for over 10 years, I use one car, no change am. I go manage the car. Then the car go spoil for road, I go manage am. I was now concentrating my funds to build my business back, and my business started growing seriously because I was concentrating, buy everything that I needed in my shop. So customers started coming and my sales increased. By then, swine fever no dey again. I don't get another pen, making 2 pens as at that time. I used the opportunity when they were paying the school fees to build and improve my business. So don't think I just got here today by mistake. No, my coming to America, if I tell you, hey, that one make I no put that one outside. So now, so they paid the first year. They paid the second year. By the 3rd year, my children still dey school, they never finish. Now they call me for meeting one day again. And when the meeting is so, Sister T, we would like to tell you that I did, so far we cannot continue with the children's school fees again. You know what I did? I smile in my mind and I'm like, who need your money anymore? Wallahi. Because as at that time, my first son was almost finishing. So I have the remaining two. And I'm like, who need your money anymore? I've collected my husband's money back from you. The change I dash you. Yeah. Because the money where my husband give. And don't come and tell me I didn't give to God, man, I give to God. I did not, my husband didn't give God money. If he see God, now when he die, he go see God. He needs see God when in their life. The God around us are people around us. They are the ones that are the God that we need to give money. Not God. You people say God owes everything. Is the owner of heaven and earth. Why will he need money from ordinary mere mortal from us? You say the silver and gold belongs to him. Why will he need any money from mortal man like me? You said he provides all things. Then why is he asking me for money? No, it's just a question. Why, when your pastors need money, they don't go to God? Why do they come to people to sow seed? Why? Please, get sense. My husband didn't give no money to God. He gave money to church. He gave money to pastor. He gave money to business of one man. Yes. And they in turn recruit more slaves. I say it and I say it again. One man business churches, one man churches, one man owned churches, and nothing but slaves camp. Let me chip it in that at a point in this journey, I am praying it for you again. I am wishing it for you that every stranger, anyone, be it stranger, be it known, that is your divine helper, will locate you. There was a time in my son's school, my last son, the little baby then. It was about 5 or 6 or something, I can't remember vividly, during this journey, that among his peers, the school uniform was changed and they gave the parents time to change, to buy the new one. I could not afford the uniform because I was even still owing school fees at that point. That was before they came to me. I'm trying not to miss any points. In case I mix it up, please just take all the points. Because I saw somebody saying, Madam, maybe you should pen whatever you want to say. I cannot pen. I'm working. I don't have the time to start penning. Just pick the point as I'm saying. So I'm saying it one by one, got nothing to do with you. All you need to know is the story, how it happened, which I'm trying my best to do. This is a story of 18 years. Okay, so I might miss out some points and I will remember later. So at that point, my son was the only one not having the uniform. And he has this friend he was playing with in school. You know what? There are angels in children. There are helpers in children. This little boy went to tell the parents. The father is very rich. The father works with NNPC. And he told them he has a very good friend in school who is the only one odd in the school that doesn't wear uniform, the same uniform, that the boy is coming with old uniform. You know what happened? The parents went to the school, bought 4 uniforms for my son. Not only that, they asked them if I'm owing school fees. They said yes. They paid that school fees and gave me extra 100,000 naira. I don't know, probably it is the way I have been doing. My husband was a giver, I am a giver. I give to people, even up till now. I don't like people having problems except if I cannot help. If I cannot help physically, I will stand by you emotionally, encourage you. I don't know, maybe that is the seed I was reaping back. Because at that time, even when I have money and I see other widows that are less than me, I visit them to give them something. Anytime I hear of somebody that, I might not even know the person directly. Once I know they say, somebody lost their husband, I'll go visit them, console with them, and give them something and encourage them that, look, I'm a widow too. It's not going to be the end of the world. I was still doing that in my pains. So these people paid my son's school fees, and they took up that boy's school fees till he finished primary school. I just want to chip this in. So when you hear me always saying that slogan, that they scam me, I scam them back. And so I take style for almost 3 years, collect their money back, my money back. I collect the money back. After I collect the money, now I call the pastor. I still went for like few months after, or 1 year, I can't remember now, before the pastor died. God bless his soul. Very nice man. Of course, I'm not blaming the pastors in Redeem. Most of the things they do are ordered from above. And because you have that mind that you are working for God, most of you don't have the fear of God and do. Because there's something that they say, if you are silent in the face of oppression, you are part of the oppressor. Most of you know what they are doing is bad. Like the case of Ayoka. This is Ayoka. In case you missed the story, is on my page. This story of Ayoka, the parish pastor knew what was going was wrong, but he didn't say nothing. He couldn't face them. I have the voice notes. I said, but is this right for them to abandon this lady that has served the church for 20 years on a deathbed? This woman is dying, and you people are not ready to help. He said it's not his fault, but he couldn't say it to them. I have the voice notes. I said, why can't you talk to them? At the end of the day, this lady died. This Ayoka that you are looking, she died. So that's why I say collect my money back. After I collected my money, after a year or close to a year, I told the pastor, I said, I'm sorry, I won't be able to come again. In between, they were even still saying, Auntie Statoyin, when are you going to join the workforce? Now I talk for myself, me, make I become slave again, God forbid. Now I tell him, I'm never ready. He said, boy, it's been long. This is almost 6-7 years. I said, I'm not ready, sir. That's why I tell him. I said, when I'm ready, I will let you know. Like style, and so I stop going to them. So when you hear me say they scam me, I scam them back. But how many widows have this opportunity to take back what they have taken from them? How many widows are their children placed on scholarship in all their schools? How many widows have access to them to talk to them on what they are going through? How many widows have they truly helped? I have so many cases of widows who have talked to me about them. They are not ready to bring their faces out, so that's okay. But I am saying my own story. If they are ready, let them come out with their own mouth and say their story too. I am not fighting for nobody, no fighting for justice for no one. But this is my own truth. This is my own story. This is my own experience. Thanks for watching. I am glad I am living to tell the story. I don't need to bore you how after some years I got into a relationship, and today, if it is those days, they will tell me, you can't go into a relationship until the man marries you. Who go marry a person we don't get 3 pikin? Yes, I went into a relationship, and this relationship is what has made me and my children American citizens today, to the glory of God. Isn't it wonderful? Those are the people that are telling people not to japa. Imagine if I'm still under them. My life will be limited. My movement will be limited because they put chains on people's hands and legs. They restrict and blank your mind from doing what will progress your own life. Meanwhile, they are doing what will progress their own life. They are not talking of IVF up till now. None of them is campaigning for IVF so that women will know there is IVF. They are still asking people, come and pray for the fruit of the womb. That is how selfish they are. So anybody will like make you use in brain. I brought out a story of a widow who said, please, auntie, use my story. I'm ready for you to put it out. Just protect my identity. This lady told me it was a relationship she got into too that made her an American citizen today. She said initially she was with Deeper Life and she changed to Redeem. As a widow, they were expecting her to start funding her department. And she was like, me, we never chop belleful, we no see money pay for school fees. Now I go still go. She said that was what opened her brain. And she met a man who was living abroad, and this man showed interest in her. They started dating and they got married. So imagine if this woman is fully under them, she will still be with them, being a slave. Our children's life will stay on one side, one level. Meanwhile, their own children are progressing. These are the same people that immediately after secondary school, they are sending their children to Oral Roberts University in America to go and school. They are telling people not to japa. I say this to your people. I no wan talk because of YouTube and this thing. If you know wetin I dey call them off screen, I no get shishi respect for them as dem dey, because they care only about their family. They ask you for money. When you need money, they tell you to go to God, continue to pray. Now so prayer dey rain money from down. If na so prayer dey work, for all of you that saying I should stop saying prayer don't work, then what has happened to all the prayers we are praying for Nigeria? I have been part of 24-hour prayer, 48 hours prayer for that Nigeria. How come the country is not getting better? How come things are getting worse? How come we are experiencing kidnapping today, ritual healing today, Yahoo tomorrow in that country? How come your pastor's prayer could not even save them from using bulletproof car, from using security guards? Prayer should have made them, they should pray. Maybe they know how to pray, right? They will say, 1,000 shall fall at my side, 10,000 at my right hand side. With my eyes alone shall I behold, it will not come near me. How come they are going around with security? That their prayers alone should be a bulletproof. I repeat it, prayers are wishes. Some things definitely will come without you praying about it. Those are the kind of things I experienced. Favor. You don't ask for it. Those are unmerited favor. I didn't pray for it. I was just doing my own. Where is the strength to even pray at that time? I was always too weak to pray. I open my mouth, I want to pray, now cry. I open my mouth, I want to pray, now cry. I no go fit pray. And I cry, they always cry. So where is the prayer? Of course, most of the time I will say, Lord, have mercy on me. I need your mercy. Oluwa ṣàánú fún mi, jẹ́ n ráàánú gbà. You can say, okay, those are prayers too. But I never specifically say, Oluwa ṣe eléyìí fún mi. God do this one for me. God do that one for me. My own is just let me be able to take care of my children. And I did my role. I took responsibility. Most of us don't take responsibility. We depend on these people. I took responsibility. I went out there. I did my own part. Faced my business. Used my brain to multiply money. How many prayers is Dangote praying? How many prayers is Elon Musk praying? Elon Musk does not even pray, believe God exists. How many prayers are all these people praying? A lot of people who don't believe in God that exist and they have money. How many prayers? People are taking you for granted, using you. Please, I'm not saying don't go. That is your cup of tea, please. This is my own opinion. And let's respect each other's opinion. And don't come and tell me we should respect your, I should respect the pastors too. No, I was part of them. I'm a victim. So you can't tell me not to talk about them. I will continue to talk about them. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you. And I think at this point, this is the conclusion of my story, because the rest are not really relevant to what I'm saying. So there's no need bringing some things out. Let me keep it in the cooler. Like I told you, I suffer a lot of neglect, abandonment by a lot of people, unexpected people. But I'm glad, despite all that, today I am where I am today. I'm not only here in America, I'm not suffering, I'm not hustling too much. You can see me. This is what time? This is 11 o'clock. Oh, yes, exactly 11 o'clock. I will go out at my own convenience, come back at my own convenience. So it's all about, let's use our brain. We have this brain. What if you have this brain and you are waiting for somebody to use it for you? Too bad. They will help you to use the brain since you don't want to use it, and they will make a merchandise of it and become very, very rich. Let me have this last post from somebody comments as I conclude, and I say thank you for staying with me to the end of this story. Thank you very much.